Thank you for joining us right here on Luntha Television. It's time for news. And with me, Jacqueline Saidi. Now the headlines.
Pope Francis decries conflicts and economic colonialism in Democratic Republic of Congo. Mixed reactions to Chikura's clean cabinet. Poor observation of cholera preventive measures fueling cases in Mangoche district. And in other news, United Nations concerned with militia buildup in South Sudan.
We have these and more. Stay with us. Pope Francis has addressed the most pressing issues affecting the Democratic Republic of Congo, including the ongoing conflict and economic colonialism, thereby urging the Congolese people to reject violence. The Pope said this during his first meeting with civil authorities on the first day of his apostolic journey. He further went on to lament the exploitation that DRC and the whole African continent continue to endure today in the form of economic colonialism, which he said is equally enslaving as it makes the Congolese people foreign to their own land. We have a Vatican News reporter which is being read by Bernard Mwanza.
In his first speech upon his arrival to the Democratic Republic of Congo DRC on Tuesday, Pope Francis decried the conflicts that continue to ravage the country and the reckless exploitation of its immense natural resources by foreign forces. Meeting with government authorities, civil society and the diplomatic corps, the Garden of Palais de la Nation in Kinshasa, after his courteous visit to Congolese President Felix Tshisekedi, the Pope urged the Congolese people to take their destiny into their own hands by rejecting violence and hatred. He explained that his visit is born from his desire to bring them the closeness, the affection and the consolation of the entire Catholic Church, and that he is coming as a pilgrim of reconciliation and peace. Likening the DRC to a diamond, one of the many riches of the country, the Pope noted that the Congolese people are infinitely more precious than any treasure found in their fruitful soil. He remarked that beyond the abundance of natural resources, they also have a spiritual worth to be found in their hearts, from where peace and development are born, for which he said every Congolese should feel called to do his or her part. Pope Francis went on to lament the exploitation that DRC and the whole African continent continue to endure today in the form of economic colonialism, which he said is equally enslaving, making the Congolese people foreign to their own land. The Pope denounced the poison of greed, which has smeared its diamonds with blood, calling on the world to acknowledge the catastrophic injustices committed in the past and for an end to the ongoing plundering of its natural resources.
The Pontifical Mission Society's PMS in Malawi has called on the Catholic faithful to look after the religious men and women in the church as a way of promoting their missionary work. PMS National Director, the Very Reverend Father Vincent Mwakwa, made the call as the church will be celebrating the World Day of the Consecrated Life and the Pontifical Missionary Union PMU tomorrow, the 2nd of February 2023. According to Father Mwakwa, priests, brothers and sisters lack a lot in their missionary work that need everyone's attention for them to be psychologically and spiritually supported. Each and every year, the PMS family celebrates the Pontifical Missionary Union on the 2nd day of February alongside the feast of the Presentation of the Lord in the Temple. We have a report by Bernard Mwanza.
Founded on 31st October 1916 by the inspiration of Blessed Paolo Manna, the Pontifical Missionary Union PMU aims at admitting and forming the faithful baptized in their missionary responsibility through the pastoral service of the bishops and priests, according to the motto, "All the Church for all the world." Initially called Missionary Union of the Clergy, it was conferred by Pius XII the title of Pontifical by a decree of 28 October 1956. Pontifical Mission Society's PMS National Director, the Very Reverend Father Vincent Mwakawa, said this year's celebration will be conducted per each diocese, unlike previous years, due to other challenges. However, Father Mwakawa has encouraged the laity to put the needs of the consecrated people at heart for them to be encouraged in their missionary work.
First of all is prayer, praying for these consecrated people, that they be committed, they burn with missional commitment. Our prayer will always help them, motivate them. Moreover, as members of the church, we're supposed to encourage each other. Secondly, is that we want the lay people to join them and pray with them, especially on the public mass that they celebrate on the 2nd, but also on the 4th, the coming Saturday. If you can afford, buy a gift to them so that they feel, encouraged, motivated, and loved by all of you.
Among others, in Longwe Archdiocese, the celebration will be held at St. John's Msamba Parish in Longwe, where representatives from PMS National Office will be in attendance, whereas the diocese will commemorate the day at Bembeke Cathedral, both on Saturday, the 4th of February 2023. Meanwhile, PMS says it expects more priests and other religious men and women and the laity to participate at the events of this day in their respective dioceses. This is also a special day when the faithful religious men and women, but also priests, bring candles to their churches so as to be blessed, symbolizing Christ, the source of light in everyone's life. For Luntha News in Lilongwe, I am Bernard Mwanza.
President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera's constituted cabinet has drawn mixed views, with governance experts sending a clap on contentment and claiming that is gender balanced. While scoring high on the gender equality, President Chakwera is taken to the cleaners for maintaining a bloated cabinet and old familiar faces. Chakwera made the list public in the wee hours of Wednesday, the 1st of February, barely few hours after his own set deadline of January 31st, 2023. We have a report which is being read by Hobson Kambeta.
A statement from the Office of President Cabinet, signed by Chief Secretary Colin Zamba, says the cabinet has been reduced to 13% from 33 to 27. But in several interviews, rights activists and political leaders expressed dissatisfaction with the current number of ministers in the cabinet. Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace National Coordinator Boniface Chibwana, well, welcome the development, said the president needed to reduce further the number of cabinet ministers.
Changed as Malawians on the recent cabinet reshuffle. We were promised that we'll have a lean cabinet, but we have seen 27-member cabinet. This is not lean enough considering the way we are, our economy, the way our resources are. We expected that we would have a lean cabinet.
On his part, the Center for Human Rights and Rehabilitation Center Executive Director Michael Kayasa said with the current economic status, the president should search further the cabinet. He suggested a cabinet of at least 20 ministers, including the president and the vice president.
As the CHR would have wanted, if the president had even gone further, to reduce the number of cabinet ministers, because much as we appreciate that we have a lean cabinet of 7 members, but looking at the challenges that the country is going through, I think we would have done even much better to reduce the number to even 20.
UDF Public Secretary Yusuf Mwawa also highlighted that the cabinet is not lean enough to save Malawians in the current economic turmoil. He said the presence of certain familiar faces in the cabinet renders a vote of no confidence to Chakwera.
We believe that he promised the people of Malawi that he is going to have a lean cabinet. Relatively, this one is smaller, but not the way we thought in terms of the economy of the country right now.
Among those that Chakwera has fired are Malawi Congress Party Secretary General Ezon Hoankaka, UTM's Patricia Kaliati and academician Blessing Chisinga. Media conglomerate Gospel Wazagu has also been fired as Minister of Information. Chagwera has also booted out activist camp politician Timothy Ntambo. New faces in the cabinet are Kenneth Kalingoma, Moses Kunkuyu, Simplex Chorabanda, which is in Kandawiri, and Democratic Progressive Party DPP Legislature Owen Chumanika.
While on the same issue of cabinet reshuffle, the NGO Gender Coordination Network has commended President Lazarus Chakwera for appointing more women in position of ministers and deputy ministers. Speaking with Luntha Vision, board member for NGO GCN, Jesse Chingoma, said the newly appointed cabinet has shown how the country is making strides in as far as gender equality is concerned. Hobson Kambeta has won this report.
According to Chingoma, the newly appointed cabinet has shown that the country has trust of women who can be put in decision-making positions as far as democracy is concerned. She also expressed her gratitude on the 75% representation of women in deputy minister's position. She then said she's hoping that the voices of women will be easily heard and they will also easily access different services such as education, affordable farm inputs program, AIP, among others. Chingoma held the president for appointing again a female on the position of Minister of Gender, but then suggested that next time you should consider appointing a male so that they can be put in the forefront in the fight against gender inequality.
We are happy with the new cabinet appointments, especially considering that we have at least responded to the Gender Equality Act. The 40-60 ratio that is in the GEA has been adhered, but that the law would always give a minimum. We are hoping that if we could do better. So moving forward, I think now we are at 41%. As a country, we could even go as far as 50-50 or even 40-60, especially the 60 being female ministers.
Further, Chingoma says she is hoping that next cabinet, women representation will be 60% and 40% of men. President Chakwera on January 31, 2023, appointed 27-member cabinet, which comprises of 16 men and 11 women representing 41% of women. For Luntha Television News, this is Hope Kambeta.
Remember, you're still watching news on Luntha Television. We'll be back after the break.
Luntha TV is now on Zuku Channel 51. You can get yourself a Zuku decoder from the Luntha TV offices in Area 2, Lilongwe, and from all the St. Manford bookshops across the country in Kasungu, Lilongwe, Salima, Dedza, Balaka, Zomba, Mulanje, Blantyre, Chikwawa, Mwanza, and Mangochi. For more information, contact 0883 815 055 or 0996 892 965. Get a Zuku decoder today and not miss daily mass, worship and prayers, news bulletins, and so much more on Luntha TV, bringing wisdom into your home.
Remember, it's still news time right here on Luntha Television. Now let's have another look at the headlines.
Pope Francis decries conflicts in economic colonialism in Democratic Republic of Congo. Mixed reactions to Chakwera's clean cabinet. Poor observation of cholera preventive measures, fueling cases in Mangochi district. And in other news, United Nations concerned with militia buildup in South Sudan.
Efforts by health officials in curbing the further spread of cholera in Mangochi district are being derailed due to public negligence towards preventive measures and lack of resources, among other issues. Making the revelation earlier today during a cholera media tour in Mangochi, the district's principal health environmental officer, Semu Kolola, said apart from water accessibility and lack of resources, issues that are hindering their efforts most of all is lack of cooperation by the public in observing preventive measures and late seeking of health care services triggered by religious and cultural beliefs. According to Kolola, because of this, they have failed to reach the target of 0% recording of cases by 31st January, hence calling for collective efforts amongst all stakeholders, including media, in sensitizing the masses about cholera. Tandu Mzomara filed this report, which is being read by Andrew Pound.
In Mangochi, where cases of cholera have increased tenfold since last November, only 85% of people residing in the district have access to safe water, and many people living in rural areas depend on Lake Malawi for washing, fishing, and cleaning food, as well as their hygienic needs. Health officials have been putting in much effort in curbing the fever spread of the disease. However, negligence by the public is choking the fight. According to the principal health environment officer for Mangochi, Semu Kolola, most people seek health services when the situation has already worsened because of religious and cultural beliefs.
In terms of case management, I think we, as a district, are trying our level best to save the lives of those that have been affected as far as cholera is concerned. We have at this hospital this cholera treatment unit where we are managing all cases, be it male, female, or even children. So basically we are providing the necessary care to make sure that those that have been affected by cholera, they get better and are discharged and go back to their community and continue to be productive as far as their families and households are concerned.
By 31st January, Mangochi had registered 6,756 cases and 113 deaths. While Malawi usually counts a few hundred cholera patients per year, the huge number of cases has already eclipsed the 33,546 recorded in 2002 during an epidemic that until now was the country's worst. And while the mortality rate of cholera is usually below 1%, the current 3% mortality rate is extremely worrisome.
In sports, as the elections for the Super League of Malawi Sulum are set to be held this month, teams have started mobilizing themselves to force the body's administrators to change the nomination process. Currently, Blue Eagles and Silver Strikers have joined mighty Mukuru Wanderers in calling for a separate independent body to handle the whole process during nominations and elections. King Major Kamwendo with the report.
Apparently, Wanderers have officially lodged a complaint with the Super League of Malawi Sulum asking the body not to handle the nomination process through its secretariat. Wanderers Company Secretary James Gondwe confirmed planning Sulum not to handle the nomination process. Gondwe said it is unfair for the interested parties to have access to the nomination forms. Meanwhile, Silver Strikers Board Chairperson George Kauza Masina has said Sulum Secretariat must not handle nomination forms to avoid compromising the process. Masina said they are equally concerned as Wanderers that if Sulum, who are interested parties in the forthcoming elections, handle the preliminary stages of the election by receiving teams' nomination forms, there could be a high chances of jeopardizing the process. And Blue Eagles Chairperson Alexander Ngwaya shared the same sentiments, saying an independent body should handle the nomination process and the elections. Currently, Nyasa Big Press Vice President Fleetwood Haya has challenged the incumbent President Tiasomba Banda, while former Silver Strikers General Secretary Mike Tembo wants to challenge Solomon General Secretary Williams Banda. For Luntha News, this is King Major Kamwendo.
In other news, the United Nations peacekeeping mission in South Sudan has expressed concern about the latest reports of a build-up of ethnic-linked militia known as Agwelek in Upper Nile State in the north. It has appealed to national and community leaders to exercise restraint and commit to peace and dialogue. The latest reports of military escalation surfaced just days before the historic visit of Pope Francis this week. On Tuesday, the embassies of Norway, the UK and the US issued a joint statement saying they had noted with grave concern an indication of preparation for renewed fighting in Upper Nile. They urged traditional leaders and political actors to prevent it and find a peaceful and sustainable solution. They also called on the government of South Sudan to hold accountable those responsible for violence, including the most recent clashes in Upper Nile, Jonglei in the Greater People Administrative Area, as well as those who have engaged in human rights violations, abductions, and human trafficking. Well, with that, we conclude the news. Now, the headlines before you go.
Pope Francis decries conflicts and economic colonialism in Democratic Republic of Congo. Mixed reactions to Chikura's clean cabinet. Poor observation of cholera preventive measures fueling cases in Mangoche district. And in other news, United Nations concerned with militia buildup in South Sudan.
My name is Jacqueline Saidi. Thank you very much for watching Luntha Television. Stay safe.